Hello, and welcome to my Payday free weapon guide. Today's episode is going to be covering the Car-4 assault rifle, one or two weapons that every heist will start with. Now, before the video starts, if you're looking at the length and thinking, man, this is just way too long for my liking, I just want basic info on the gun, and that's all I want to know, then don't worry. In the coming days, I will make a companion video to this, which is just going to be a YouTube short. It's going to be very basic, just instantly going, look, this is the gun, this is what you should use, here's some skills, off you go. So if that's what you want, then by all means just wait for that. But if you want a more in-depth and thorough explanation, then this is exactly what this video is, so please stick around for that. 54 damage per second, I can deal up to 912 damage in a single magazine. With base arm penetration value of 92%, this means the Car-4 will deal just shy of 13 health damage when shooting armor SWAT. The damage fall off is about average for the Car-4 compared to other ARs, dropping to 25 damage when firing at targets 50 meters away, and 16.7 when firing at long distance enemies roughly 100 meters away. The crit multiplier on the Car-4 is identical to most assault rifles, being about 5 times damage increase when at close range, a 3 times multiplier when at medium range, 2 times at far range, and a 1.5 times damage multiplier when firing extremely far away. Without any attachments, the Car-4 can hold 30 bullets in the magazine, with a total reserve count of 300. However, extended mags will expand this to 40 bullets per magazine, and the compact mag will decrease this to 20. When reloading with ammo still left, you can expect a reload of 2 1/3 seconds, whereas an empty reload will require an additional third of a second to fully complete. Switching to the Car-4 from your secondary will take you 0.4 seconds, whereas swapping away from the Car-4 will take just over half a second. The Car-4 has a pretty alright ammo pickup rate, where you can expect to get between 3 to 5 bullets per ammo drop. Now that we have covered the stats of the Car-4, let's dive into its levels and attachments. The Car-4 is one of the highest leveled guns in the game, having a maximum level of 29, which is a pain in the ass to get, but it's kind of worth it. Though also kind of not, but we'll get to that. Due to the just wide array of attachments itself, I'm going to cover each category one by one. So if you're only interested in a certain one, such as magazines, by all means, feel free to skip ahead to it, whatever helps you the best. With that being said, however, let's start off with the sights. The Car-4 has access to 7 different optical attachments, the first of which, at level 1, is the classic red dot sight. It's the first of 2 sights to cost 10k, and has a zoom of 1.15 times. It's just a beginner red dot sight, what is there to say? It improves your targeting speed, but lowers your swap speed. A quick note before continuing, information on Payday 3 is unfortunately kind of scarce as of right now. The wiki isn't really updated, and in-game doesn't specify numbers as to how stuff is either made better or made worse, so a slow swap speed could be anything from like maybe 0.1 seconds to an entire second. It just isn't really said in-game. I've tried to get information where possible, it's just not currently out there, so for now, I'm sorry. If down the road, more information's out and numbers are clearer, so on and so forth, I'll gladly just make an addendum and redo this, it's completely fine. Moving on from that, at level 3, you have the tactical sight. This is a more range scope with 2 times zoom, and the most zoom of any sight that the Car-4 has, so if you want to use this as a marksman rifle, which please don't, but if you wanted to, this is your sight for you. It has improvements to your overall recoil and screen shake amplitude, but at the cost of your targeting speed and sprint to fire speed. Which is fair, I mean, it's a tactical sight. You're using it for longer ranges, you're not going to sprint fire with this, I hope. Level 9 is the next sight, being the compact red dot sight, which is the first of 3 sights to now cost 100k instead of 10k. With an identical zoom to the classic red dot sight, you're going to be using this for one of 2 reasons. The overall gun kick improvement is genuinely beneficial to you, though keep in mind your targeting speed does come at a slight cost, or the sight itself is just preferable to you. You prefer its boxier look, or you prefer its reticle, which are very valid arguments. Level 11 has a pretty plain sight. I'm sorry, that crashed and burned, I'm not going to repeat that. The projection red dot sight is what I personally believe to be a pure upgrade to both the compact and classic red dot sights. Has a slight zoom increase of 1.2 times, improvements to its initial and overall recoil, at the cost of sprint to fire speed, and it just feels very nice to use. It's what I personally still have on my Car-4 whenever I use it. By all means, it's a pretty good go-to sight. At level 16 is the viewpoint sight. Slightly longer zoom once again of 1.3 times, with improvements to your gun kick and screen shake amplitude, But the caveat is this time your target speed and overall stop speed. It's just slightly more zoom. If you want that from your sight, then here's slightly more zoom. Not really too much to say. Now, next sight isn't all the way until level 27, being the Sheath Red Dot sight. Before mentioning what the sight does, we have an issue. This and the next sight, as well as many attachments down the road, cost C-stacks, 50 to be specific. Attachments will always cost 50 C-stacks. The issue is, why are you spending C-stacks on an attachment? Except for a few fringe cases. You're probably going to use it on cosmetics, because that's all they're really there for, let's be honest. It's just a money sink. They're so hard to come by, at least whilst the game is still fresh. I'm going to really recommend you don't buy any attachments unless you either really want it, or it's just a major statistical upgrade. With that being said, what does the Sheath Red Dot sight do? It has the exact same zoom as some of the past sights, being 1.15 times. It improves your gun kick and lowers top speed. That's it. If you just really like the Sheath Red Dot sight, by all means go ahead, but please don't. Last but not least, the line sight at level 29. A 1.8 times zoom is, it's okay. It's the middle ground between the viewpoint and tactical. So if you wanted something, between those two, maybe the viewpoint's too far but the tactical's too small, this is your sight. It's a C-stack sight though, but whatever. It benefits your overall recoil and screen check amplitude, but it's at the cost of your targeting speed. With the sights finally covered, we can now move on to the category with the second most amount of options, the barrel extensions. First up, we have the Express Muzzle Brake being locked at level 2, being the first of 2 barrel extensions cost 10k. I hate the word extensions, sorry, bear with it. This will improve your horizontal gun kick and your overall recoil at the cost of your targeting speed. Just pretty basic. It's the beginning attachment. It does its job well, honestly. I mean, overall recoil, it's nice to have a benefit. Can't complain. At level 6 is something way more interesting though, thank God for that. The Beveled Silencer. It's instantly useful. It's a silencer. If you want to use the Car 4 for stealth, you're going to want a silencer. And this is the first one you get for quite a while, if I'm honest. Your shots will be quieter, obviously, because silencer, meaning you can now fire it, and not alert everyone around you instantly. However, the downside is that it decreases your shot speed and targeting speed. So if you're in a panic, trying to swap to your gun, it might be the difference between you, not getting caught and going loud. But it is what it is. At level 10 is the Hybrid Muzzle Brake, being the first of 4 barrel extensions this time to cost 100k. It improves vertical and horizontal recoil at the penalty of reduced targeting speed. Honestly, pretty good. I mean, it's just better than, the Express Muzzle Brake. By all means, go ahead and use it. No reason not to. At level 14, the Peaked Silencer, which has the benefit of also being silenced and improved horizontal recoil this time, at the cost of hit fire spread and damage distance. See, not really a concern, I guess, because if you're using it for stealth, it's going to be close quarters combat, but if you're using it in a loud heist because, hey, you like silencers, they sound nice, don't use this, please. It's just going to make your gun worse. Please don't use this. At level 19, the second to last barrel extension is the Indent Compensator. It improves your horizontal recoil, but lowers your vertical recoil and targeting speed. Honestly, just stick to the Hybrid Muzzle Brake. Just stick to it, it's better. At level 23, you unlock the Cylindric Silencer, which is the last of the 3 silencers. This one improves your overall speed and silences, but lowers your damage distance. If you're using it purely for stealth, Cylindric is the way to go, by all means. If you're using it for loud though, stick to the Beveled. It's the only one that doesn't decrease damage distance. Nothing really much more to say there. Now that's over, from here on out, the category is going to get a lot shorter of attachments, especially with this one being the barrel attachments. There's only 2 choices, the first one being the CQC barrel, unlocked level 17, for a cost of 100,000. It improves your gun kick and targeting speed, but reduces your damage distance and overall recoil. Honestly, just don't use it, please. Right now, you can only use one primary weapon in Payday 3. And why would you put CQC barrel on this? You're just going to nerf your gun. Seriously, not worth it. Just stick with no attachment. Why no attachment? Well, your other option, fully enough, is the range barrel at level 26. Now, you might be thinking, hang on, that sounds good. And honestly, it is. It improves your damage distance and your overall recoil, but at the cost of your target speed and gun kick. What's the catch? It costs C-stacks. Just forego it. I mean, if you really want it, sure, but just leave the slot empty, please. The next category is almost as short, and it's the grips. Level 4 is the only grip costing 10k, the tack grip. It's an early game option, improves your overall recoil and swap speed with a penalty hit fire spread. I mean, you know, if you're running Gunslinger, don't do it because hit fire, but otherwise just put it on. It helps. It's nice. Your second grip, funnily enough, isn't until level 20. Yep, huge leap once again, because that makes sense. No, it doesn't. The Biofit grip costs 100k, improves vertical recoil and vertical gun kick, but just ruins your horizontal recoil a bit. Just don't. Tack grip's fine. Keep using it. Level 22 is the last grip, being the perforated grip. Worse gun kick, but improves sprint fire speed and targeting speed. So, I mean, if you don't want to use tack grip, you want a gunslinger build, here's your grip. Hooray! Level 22 though, kinda fucking ridiculous. The magazine attachments are up next, with the compact mag being the first one unlocked level 7, and the first of 2 mag attachments cost 100k. The compact mag will lower the amount of ammo you have in the capacity to 20, but improve your reload speed. Interestingly enough though, your maximum ammo count does actually increase to 400, meaning this is statistically a DPS upgrade. Total DPS mind you, but you know, it's something. I mean, if you use an ammo funnel or you reload a lot, you won't notice this. It's just a statistical upgrade. Take it. At level 15 is the quick pull mag, which for some reason I kept saying quick pal. Don't know why. Anyway, this is a statistical upgrade. It just improves your reload speed. That's it. If you don't want less ammo in the magazine with the compact, take the quick pull. Simple as, nothing more to it. Last but not least is the extended mag at level 28 with a price tag of 50 C-stacks, which is honestly the first attachment I would say is probably pretty fair to go for. It gives you a slightly slower reload, but you hold 45 bullets in the magazine. It's nice. Everyone likes that. But then again, you can easily forego it. It's not necessary. And, you know, C-stacks. Fuck C-stacks. It's what it is. Next up is the stocks. Your first one unlock, and the first of 3 to cost 100k, is Light Frame, which improves targeting speed and sprint fire speed, but decreases your hip fire speed and overall recoil. Is it good? I mean, it's just, you know, it does its thing, really. Who cares? I mean, come on. At this point, it's just like you're picking stuff up because you feel like it. That's why. To note, by the way, Light Frame is unlocked at level 8. At level 13 is the Padded Tube, which improves sprint fire speed and overall swap speed at the cost of recoil and gun kick. Arguably, it's just worse than Light Frame. Light Frame is but at least something. Padded Tube is just more I don't know. If the stocks in general, it feels like they just gave up. Which, this is shown even more with the HQ stock at level 18. Well, actually the HQ stock is fine. It improves recoil and gun kick, but worsens overall spread. Not amazing, but not awful. And the last but not least stock to cover is the TQ stock at level 24 and costing 50 C-stacks once again. It improves recoil, improves gun kick, focused up sprint to fire speed, focused up targeting speed. It's just the Padded Tube and Light Frame combined into like one Frankenstein mess, and then flipped. I mean, it's nice, but it's C-stacks. I don't need to say more. With the last category, thank fucking god we're almost there, is the vertical grips. Level 5 introduces the cylinder grip, being the only one of the vertical grips to cost 10k. It improves hip fire spread and vertical recoil, but lowers swap speed and targeting speed. run and gun style, this is alright. Definitely not bad. Just don't stop away from it, I guess. A level 12 is a stub grip, the first of 2 vertical grips to cost you 100k. And it's kind of, funnily enough, pretty similar to the cylinder grip. They both improve hit speed. They both improve vertical recoil speed. But, wait, what? Vertical recoil speed, yeah. Your recoil, vertical, slower, faster, who knows? The drawback is horizontal recoil. If you want to use stub grip, by all means, just go for it. If you want to use cylinder grip, go for it. I mean, the stub grip's technically a better upgrade, but it doesn't matter. At level 21 is the angled ghost grip. I don't know. I mean, usually when I angle my grip on ghosts, it's kind of straight, but if you want to get it sideways, I guess that's what I need. Regardless of that, overall spread, horizontal recoil are buffed at the cost of vertical recoil. I feel like with the grips, they just kind of gave up. They were like, listen, we have attachments, but he's getting buffs and debuffs. Make them all do the same. Why is that a bad thing? Lack of variety, man. Like, you want to get attachments to your guns. You know, at this point, you're not picking it for the buffs, you're picking it for the cosmetic looks, which, I mean, not the worst thing in the world, but what's the fucking point? Just give us like 1 grip, or 2, not 4. Speaking of the 4th one, the quick cold grip, level 25, it costs 50 C-stacks. Does it fare any better? Fuck no! It's the angled ghost grip, but it also reduces your initial recoil. It's literally worse. Why the fuck does it cost 50 C-stacks? It's like, just, I don't know, the Starbreeze devs are sitting at a computer, typing up, you know, attachments and what to buff and debuff. Almir comes in, goes, hey guys, yeah, you see those angled ghost grip and fucking, you know, the quick hold grip? Make them the same thing, but make that one that costs more, make it worse. And then take the week off, take the month off, take the year off even. Go back to working on Payday 2. Like, seriously. What the fuck? What did they think? The servers weren't going to last long enough for anyone to notice the attachments are shit? I don't know. It's just, it's a complete waste. Do not buy the quick hold grip, please. Now that the absolute slog of attachments has finally been covered, let's look at something more interesting, which is skill recommendations. Now, when it comes to recommending skills, I'm going to try and focus on things that are more for the gun and less for your class. I might dip into it here and there, or I might mention like specific roles you can run or so on and so forth, but primarily we're going to try and focus on the gun. So, starting up, almost all of the Moa tree is just nice to grab. Moa Basic is a good source of edge. Every 5 bullets you shoot, you gain edge. It's nice. Suppressive fire means that you can inflict heavy staggers when edge is active, which it almost always will be. And the combination of ammo funnel and replenish means that enemies you kill, you will instantly get that ammo back into your gun. It's great. From here though, perk choice diverged a little bit. If you're going to use something laid back and slow paced, you're probably going to want to look at the sharpshooter, at least basic. Standing still and ADSing will give you edge after 1.5 seconds. It sounds bad, but think about it this way. How often are you just not getting shot? Maybe you're waiting for an assault to begin. Maybe you're still in stealth. There's a lot of opportunities where you can just proc edge, and with all the ways to refresh it, this isn't as bad as you think. Maybe it's not the best, but it's not the worst either. Sharpshooter Ace can be pretty good as well, refreshing edge on headshots whilst ADSing. This is by all means a fair way to refresh edge, though there's something I think is a bit more better, but we'll get to that in a second. I'm going to give an honorable mention to Longshot. If you want to use the Car 4 as a long range weapon, by all means, go for Longshot. You will always have that 5 times headshot multiplier in regards to distance. It's honestly not the worst thing in the world. Cutting Shot is a great choice to go for, giving you extra armor penetration, which is basically just always useful. Note that this will take the Car 4 from 92% up to 102% armor penetration. So you cross the 100% threshold. Good shit. Enforcer Basic and Ace, once again, 2 really good skills to have. The Basic gives grit if you kill 2 enemies in a short time frame 5 meters from you, which is pretty easy to do. An additional kill grit active will also give you edge, giving you yet another way to gain edge in the first place. It's maybe not needed Ace because you have so many sources of edge already, but it's pretty good. If you have spare skill points, by all means just put it in. It's a It's just quality of life, really. Speaking of quality of life, let's move on forward. Solid, great choice. Allows you to be immune to stagger effects when grit and edge are both active. So SWAT shields won't just bonk you for like, 100 seconds and you just personally daze like fucking can't see anything because they're a pain in the ass to deal with. Or a doze runs into you, but honestly that's pretty uncommon. Combat reload personally is my go-to way to refresh both grit and edge. All you gotta do is reload the weapon when there's ammo in the mag. Now you might be thinking, oh, it's a waste of ammo, why would I want to do that? You can also switch your secondary, fire a single shot, and just reload, and hey presto, both refreshed, there's another 20 seconds to go wild. It's honestly just free at that point. Shock and Awe also ties into just having the whole Enforcer tree at this point, because you might as well, which gives you a chance to stagger non-specials in a 5 meter radius when killing an enemy 8 meters from you. Note that this doesn't actually require edge or grit or anything like that, it's just a base thing you get, which is really fucking nice. It's always able to proc. Now, if you use flashbangs, which honestly aren't a bad choice, maybe you want to pick up Expose. In the Taxation tree, it allows you to ignore armor entirely when shooting anytime flashbanged. Though, I mean, it's nice, but if you're using Cutting Edge, it's kind of worthless. You already have 102% armor penetration. You don't need to ignore armor. Now, moving on from that, if you want to run a run-and-gun playstyle, then just Gunslinger is absolutely amazing to heavily spec into. At base, with just Gunslinger, switching weapons gives you edge, which is going to be probably your go-to way to gain edge. It's really nice. And its ace counterpart, headshot kills whilst hip firing will refresh edged, which means you basically just never run out unless there's no enemies to shoot. It's absolutely brilliant to run. Heavy hip fire complements this by making your shots heavy stagger when firing from the hip. Now I believe this might be guaranteed, but I'm not entirely sure, because once again, thanks Wiki for lack of information, and thanks Payday 3 for lack of information. Even if it's just a chance though, with how many bullets you've been spraying out, it's really beneficial. Just such a good thing to go for. Last thing to probably mention is combat marketing in the strategist tree, meaning that enemies you mark take 10% extra damage whilst have edge active. Now, at least at the moment, this is only really beneficial for dozers. But considering the Car4's base damage isn't exactly super high, it's not a bad thing to go for. It might give you a little bit extra oomph to kill dozers faster, which, considering they're the worst threat, by all means, it's decent to take if you have extra points. So, we now leave the best till last. What is that, you may ask? Well, it's the most disappointing fucking thing in this entire game. Preset variants. What are they? You buy in with either an insane amount of money, or C-stacks, and you get a fixed weapon you can't customize. The Car4's preset is called Monument. It doesn't unlock until level 100. It costs 500 C-stacks to buy. It comes as a CQC barrel, express muzzle brake, and padded tube. That's it. It is a waste of fucking money, and your own time, to even bother buying it. You will only get it for one or two reasons. You're a masochist, or you want to fill out your collection. For the love of God, do not buy the Monument. Please, use your C-stacks elsewhere in a better manner. And with that being said, the Car4 has now been fully covered. Thank you for just watching this in entirety. If you did, if you just skipped this bit, by all means, hey, how are you doing? Have a nice day. Anyway, this is my first attempt at making something somewhat professional. It's fucking tough. Like, holy shit. Having to read my script out loud, write my script in the first place, try and gather research, try and gather info, record it, edit it. I mean, yeah, okay, looking at YouTube videos, I thought it'd be difficult. But yeah, it's pretty fucking tough. I have more respect for YouTubers now than I ever did in the first place. Plus, this game does not help itself. Just the fact I've had to take screenshots myself of stuff in-game because the wiki for some reason doesn't have it. Thanks, I guess. It is what it is. If you have any feedback, criticism, you want to say something mean, just go for it. I'm going to read your comments. I mean, it's going to get 3 views in this video, so it's going to be hard to not miss them. With that being said, though, thank you for watching, and have a lovely rest of your day.